What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. How's everybody doing? I got something on my hand. Hope everybody's having a good day. Hope everybody had a good week. It is finally Friday. Well, your Friday, my Monday. But anyway, let's not get too much into that. How's everyone doing? I hope everybody's doing great. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already not subscribed, you should subscribe. So go do that. Go subscribe. Is my first content video. We're gonna be talking about something that actually has helped mold me into, and it's continued to mold me because I'm not done. You know, this is still a journey, like we've always said, but something that has molded me into being a better me and being a better human. Let's just say that, right? And a better woman. So the first thing I think it's good that we talk about and just taking accountability. The one thing that everyone hates to do, and everybody hates to do this. So don't sit here and say that, oh yeah, I'll take accountability for everything that I do wrong, because you don't. I guarantee you don't. And a lot of people that are around you don't. And that's why there's so many arguments, there's so many disagreements, there's so many fallouts, there's so many situations that didn't have to be if the person took accountability for what they did and then made the necessary changes. But we'll get into that. Like, this is something that is really good to start for the beginning of the year. I mean, why not? Let's start off at the beginning of the year doing self-reflecting, taking notes on what it is that we've done wrong, right? So here we go. And we're back. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I want to talk about, and I hope you guys are comfortable, comfy, like, you know, this is like regular talk. It's like I'm right here on the couch with you, right here in your bedroom, just having a conversation with you, right? So the first thing, Jesus, just stabbing myself with pens and shit. Okay, so the first thing that I want to say is this. This is actually could be number one. So number one, taking accountability for your own actions is probably one of the hardest things anyone will have to do. No one likes to think that they're wrong. Everybody likes to think that they're right. Everyone likes to think that I never do anything wrong. It's always them. It's never me. How could I be the problem? I'm not the problem. You're the problem. When in all actuality, 9 out of 10 times you are the cause of the problem. Now, I'm not saying that there are not situations where people actually cannot be the reason why you act the way you act, or cannot contribute to how you respond, but you are also in control of your own emotions. And that is also something that I am learning for myself. I'm in control of how I handle things. I don't always have to be angry. I always don't have to be upset. I always don't have to cry. Although I am a Cancer, so we are very emotional. If you're not a Cancer, you don't understand. So the second thing, number 2, take note in where it is you have messed up. Where have you gone wrong? Where are you causing the conflict? Sit back and literally relax, and think to yourself, did I say that? Did I just do that? Maybe that wasn't the smartest thing for me to do. Maybe I should have done things this way. Maybe I should have done things that way, instead of assuming that everything that you do is correct, or thinking about what it is that you said. Words hurt. They do. And I hate when people say, well, if you're not tough enough to take what I gotta say, then you need to toughen up. Where did we get that mindset that it's okay to just talk to people like they're crazy, or like they're beneath you, or like they're your child? Like, you talk to your kid that way, you talk to your kid that way. But why do you have to talk to an adult? Someone who is your friend, someone who is your friend, someone who is your partner, someone who is your family member that you actually have so much love and respect for, that you could just talk to them any kind of way. I never understood that either, but that's neither here nor there. Understanding how you play a role in this, like what exactly did you say that could have caused this to be a problem? And what did you do that caused this to be a problem? That's what everyone has to do. Literally, step back, let the person talk. Like if they're saying something to you, let them talk, hear them. Don't just listen, hear them. And take in what it is that they're saying. One time, my friend actually said to me, and I didn't realize that I do this, right? So I was planning my birthday, and she said to me, and I think it was like 6 months ahead of time or something like that. Was it 6 months? I don't know, but it was a long ahead of time before my birthday actually came. My birthday's in June, and I'm a planner. I plan out almost everything. So unintentionally, I'm just thinking like, okay, I'm just letting you guys know this is what I want to do for my birthday. Just keep that in mind, without understanding that I'm intruding, I guess you want to say, or I'm not being what's the word? It's not going to come to me. I'm not being considerate of other people's birthdays who are before me. So I was telling her and telling her and another friend of mine in our group chat that, oh, hey guys, like this is what I have planned for my birthday. And she stopped me dead in my tracks after I sent it. Like, Michelle, stop doing that. I'm like, stop doing what? Like, in my head, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What am I doing? And it was a simple thing of let other people's birthdays come first and then talk about yours. Right, like, you know, once theirs is done. And again, in my head, I didn't think that I was doing anything malicious. I'm like, I'm just talking about where I want to go, and just keep that in mind. This is where I want to go. But now, when she said this to me, before I respond back and I text her, I reread the conversation because we were texting, and I reread the conversation, and I said to her, well, I said to myself, she's right. Like, how would I feel if someone who was, like, if one of them, right, and they're both born in the winter months, right? Yeah, January, November, yeah, winter months. So I thought about it myself, like, okay, my birthday's in June, so wonder if their birthdays were in July and August, or just even their birthdays being their birthdays, right? And their birthdays are done. I feel like I'm saying birthday a lot, but their celebrations are finished, and we're in May, and I'm getting ready to tell them this is what I want to do for my birthday. And my friend who's born in November tells me, okay, so just be in mind, for my birthday we're going here, we're doing this, da 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 da. Would I have felt away? In my head, I don't know if I would have, because it's never happened, but thinking about how it makes somebody else feel is also a part of taking accountability and understanding where it is you're wrong in a situation. And that's what I did. I had to pull myself back and think, and like I said, I read the message again before I responded, and I thought to myself about how it's hurting her, and not necessarily hurting like, oh my God, like I'm in tears, but it was more so like, be aware of what it is and what it is you're doing, and how it could make somebody feel like their birthday isn't as important and only yours is. So I text them back and was like, I'm completely sorry. I didn't even realize that like I was doing it, and I wasn't doing it in a malicious way. And they both received it, and they were just like, it's okay, just be more conscious of you doing that, because you do that a lot. And then I had to, after she had said that, I thought about all the years, because we've known each other for like, I want to say 20 years now. all the times that I've done it, and I can't go back to 20 years and think about what it is that I've done, but I'm pretty sure that I've done it enough times to where she now felt the need to say something about it. And it was understandable, and I get it. I had to stop doing that. So I made the conscious choice for myself to do the changing. And that is number 3. Make the change. So I made the change, right? Made the change, felt like, okay, I should stop doing that. I need to stop doing that. And this is just like one example of like the many that I have had to endure and encounter, but I'm just using this one as an easier example because it's not as long of a story. When it came to everybody's birthday, not just them two, but like my brothers and everybody who's born before me. So my brother was born in April, my cousin is born in April. One of my friends who was in a group chat, she's born in January. Another friend who's born in February. I don't know anybody who's born in March. I don't think. And then and 2 people I think that are born in May. But being more conscious of the fact that wait until their birthdays are done and then speak on yours, because it just naturally comes to me because, like I said, I'm a planner, so I plan way ahead of time. And so yeah, I had to just really be conscious of it, and I really just had to make the changes. And no one is going to believe anybody if they don't do the changing. Like, that just goes without being said. And change, just like accountability, is very difficult. It's not that easy. And again, I don't know where it comes off as if change just happens like that, and you know, you wake up the next day and you're just a whole new person. It doesn't happen like that. To put so much stress on yourself to have to change in a day, that's excessive. That's doing the most. Like, no. Change happens over time, especially when you're used to doing things the way you've been doing it for as long as you've been doing it. The people or the person that you have done the, I guess you want to say damage, or you want to say the issue that you and this person have, should also be receptive to the fact that that they spoke on it, they told you about it. Now let's see if this person actually changes, and understand that it comes with a lot. It comes with a lot. It doesn't happen overnight, and it has to, and as the person who wants to do the changing, like the person who's having to do the change, you have to now understand that, okay, even tell yourself, write it down. You can talk to yourself, write it down, whatever. Tell yourself, like, listen, I don't want this to happen again. I didn't like the feeling that it made me feel. I definitely didn't like how it made this person who I care about feel. I don't want this to be a part of my life for the rest of my life. So I really want to make sure that I change this. And whether it's counting backwards, I've heard people say that they count backwards, or they count to 10. And they think before they literally stop, and they'd be like 1, 2, 3. They inhale, exhale, 4, 5, and they think about what it is they're about to do before they do it, because it's just become a habit. For me, changing was, and still is, very difficult to do. There's a lot of things that I have to let go of, and I have to understand that, okay, in order for this part of my life to get better, I have to stop doing this. And it's very uncomfortable. It's necessary in order for you to see a better outcome. You have to change certain things in your life. That just goes hand in hand. And like I said, you're not gonna like it. Like, you're not gonna like it. I hate it, but I also see the good that it's giving me. I also see the peace that I'm getting from changing. Like, it's so much peaceful by not doing this, and by not doing this, I'm doing that, and it makes things so much easier. It just makes life easier. Like, it just does. So doing that, that's the next step after acknowledging that you have done wrong and seeing where you've done wrong. You have to now make the necessary changes. 4 is apologize with intent. Now, I read in the Forbes, I was actually online when I was reading Forbes, and I actually have it up here now because sometimes I have to like refer back to what it is that I read. But reading on Forbes, this woman, her name is, why can't I talk? Her name is Kathy Capriano. I don't know if I'm saying her last name right, but she is a writer, a speaker. She talks about women's development, women growth, communications. She's actually really good. And I read this whole article that she did about the traits of taking accountability. And she said the one thing that you have to say, and I'm going to actually put her article down in the description box for you to read as well, because I read it myself. And one thing that she said was apologize with intent. And that's absolutely right. You can't sit here and say, oh my God, I'm sorry for that. I didn't mean to do that. Like, well, I'm just sorry. So the one thing she said was apologize with intent. Now, there's a difference between someone saying, oh, well, I'm sorry, and then someone saying, okay, you're absolutely right. I didn't see that, and I'm completely sorry for how that made you feel. I take full accountability for that because I didn't think that it was that big of a deal to me. But I'm seeing where it has hurt you. You see the difference? Now, granted, we all have traits about ourselves that just doesn't change. That's just who we are. But when you have parts of yourself that needs tweaking, you need to tweak that shit. Like, you need to just turn the dial. And that's another thing, going back to change. When it's saying change, and that was something that I had to grapple with as well. Grapple with. Is changing because, not changing everything about myself. I felt like, well, if I have to change, like, then you just don't accept me for who I am, and that's just it. No, but there are some things that you do have to change because then people don't want to be around you, and then people don't want to talk to you, and then people don't want you to in their circle. Having to change because you have to, and because it's some things about you that's just, be aware of the people who just give you that sorry, and the people who are actually like, I'm really sorry, like, I didn't know that hurt you in that way, and blah 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 blah. Be mindful of those type of people. Okay? 5 is recognizing your toxic traits. Okay, now this is one that we all have. There is something about us, whether you want to admit it or not, that's for you, yourself, and God to understand and talk about. There's literally something about each and every one of us that we know is a fucking problem, and we need to stop doing it. So, a toxic trait of mine, for example, right? But I'm able to say this because I come to the understanding that this is a toxic trait that I'm learning to stop doing, right? I cut people off. Like when someone's talking, I have this very bad habit of cutting someone off in the middle of their sentence. Like, you could be talking and it's just like, yeah, and then today, I saw this and I saw that, and it was just so amazing. And I'm like, oh yeah, and then you know what, I did that. Now that I've understood how toxic that is and how annoying that can be, because I hate it when it's done to me, I now, it was like a light bulb that just went off. I do that. And literally, it doesn't have to necessarily be something drastic. So when I say something toxic, it doesn't necessarily have to be like you're a cheater. Well, that's toxic as well, being a cheater. But but just anything about yourself that you see that's like a problem. And that could be a problem to other people, whether you're talking to them, you're in a relationship with them, whether it's your family, your friends, whomever, work people, or people who you work with. I said work people whom you work with, and recognize where that little trait of yours can cause a ripple effect. We all have something toxic about ourselves that we need to recognize, and we need to cut it out. Okay, so now here comes the other question, right? So how do you know, like, okay, let's say we've done all of these 5 things that we've had to do, right? To acknowledge our accountability for what we've done. But now how do we know if someone's actually taking accountability and making the necessary steps to do what they have to do, right? So the one thing is, people recognize, like we've said, where they have gone wrong. Whether that be they take a break, they realize, they take some steps back, and they see, like, I do this wrong, I do that wrong, I do that wrong, and this is what's the cause of that, right? So that's one thing. The next thing is they recognize when they're at fault. So, like, let's say you and your partner are having a disagreement, right? And they, I don't know, it could be something as simple as you told them to take the meat out of the freezer for you to eat, or for you to cook for later on tonight, right? And they said, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Just like when we were kids. Like, you remember when your mom used to tell you, make sure you take that food out of the freezer, take this meat out of the freezer so I can cook it by the time I get home. And you just like, yeah, ma, yeah, I got it. And then when you get home, the meat is still in the damn freezer. And instead of them saying, you're right, I should have taken it out of the freezer when you told me to, that exact moment, or even 2 seconds after I hung up the phone from you, they then put the blame on, like, well, then why didn't you take it out before you left? Right? When they know that they're at fault, when someone knows that they're at fault and they know that they did something wrong, they just say, you're right. I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I should have been more conscious. I should have taken the meat out of the freezer in the moment that you told me to take it out, because then I wouldn't have forgotten. Honest mistake. And lastly, the other way that you can tell that someone's taking accountability for their actions is that they're listening. They're being more vulnerable to your feelings and how you feel about something that they've done. When they're understanding another person's perspective, the other person's mindset, their feelings about something other than their own. That's another way. If you're used to this person constantly saying to you, like, you're wrong, it's me, and I'm right. And now you realize that they're not doing that. They're not cutting you off. They're not telling you you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. But rather they're open to hearing what you're saying. And even if they disagree with it, they're still open to actually listening. And then possibly changing their mindset later. Like, you know what you said earlier, you were actually right. And I didn't think about it that way. That's another way. So I hope you guys took all this advice that I was able to share with you, all of my little experiences that I was able to share with you, and just work on them from here on out. Like, again, this is a whole new year, and I know people say this all the time, oh, new year, new me. No, not new year, new me, but new year, better me. How about that? And just really thinking about what it is you do before you do it, and owning up to where you are the problem. You're not the problem all the time, but there are things that you do that you need to fix. And again, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to take a day. It's not going to take a month. It's not going to take the entire year from now until December. But you will see gradual improvement. I see gradual improvement in myself. And it's a everlasting, ever fulfilling journey that you are on, and it's okay. If nobody else tells you that, I'm gonna tell you, it's okay. We're gonna get there. And when we're there, we're gonna keep doing it, and we're gonna build better habits, because if the last few years didn't teach you nothing, life is like this short. And you have to do the necessary changing, the necessary fulfilling, the necessary healing for yourself to get yourself to a better place that you want to get to. So I love you guys for watching. Thank you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that little bell so you are notified when I drop my videos. Right now I'm doing Fridays, so every Friday you'll get a video, and then we will work from there. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys have a great weekend. See you soon.